20 other organizers or panelists on the line. When you are ready to begin the presentation, press the Start Broadcast button on the Go to Wendy's or in listen-only mode.
Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Secret Dating Business Group Coaching session. It's great to have you here on the call. Now there will be some opportunities, don't know who's familiar with the webinar, but you can actually type in little questions and I can answer them along the way, but potentially towards the end. So just checking in that everybody can hear me, so there should be a little, if anyone can sort of type in, you can hear me, that would be fantastic. So very excited about tonight's call, so thank you so much for your time. Tonight's Secret Dating Business was created for those people who want to achieve relationship success, and it's really all about helping you discover why you haven't met the right person yet and learn exactly what it is that you need to do to turn things around and have that electrifying, passionate relationship right now with that right person. So it's all very exciting and it's content that I've learned about over many, many years. So the topics we'll be covering today, session 1, so how to set up a magnetic, appealing profile that is compelling, confident, and flirty. So a profile is absolutely essential when it comes to obviously attracting the opposite sex and making a lasting impression. We'll also be covering how to have that smooth transition from your first date phone call to your first date without actually losing your date. So I know that sometimes at that first date phone call can be a little awkward, which is very normal. You're speaking to a complete stranger in most cases, so I'll show you how to make that nice and smooth. And we'll also be looking at the biggest mistakes that people make on a first date and how to avoid them, and what's hot and what's not. We'll be looking at the killer outfits, how to attract the opposite sex, the bill, who should pay on the first date and why. Really huge question, and it comes up all the time. And lastly, we'll be looking at the 3 most important things that can help you achieve success in attracting someone absolutely incredible. So grab a pen and paper. I'm sure you'll be taking notes along the way. So let's get started. Alrighty, now my voice is a little croaky tonight, so please excuse me. I've got that fantastic cold that's going around. So alrighty, let's look at how to set up a magnetic appealing profile. So your profile first impression is absolutely everything. It can mean the difference between finding a fantastic partner or getting a whole lot of thanks but no thanks. And let's face it, nobody really likes to get the latter. So just like a face-to-face first impression, it's even more so important in a profile. As in a profile, you actually, as you know, you don't have your personality to shine through, and you're purely relying on what's written in black and white, and only 7% of communication is words. The rest is body language, which accounts for 55%, and the rest is tonality. So what you write in that profile is really important. And also your photo, absolutely so true that a picture says 1,000 words. So I'll be sharing with you along the way how to perfect these things. So when somebody looks at a profile, it really just takes a quick glance. So around 3 seconds, sometimes even less, for someone to evaluate your profile and actually decide as whether, they'd like to see you or not. So the very first thing that the person looks at is the photo, and if they like what they see about you, that's a good thing. Then they make a decision as to whether they want to read on. So if it's a yes, fantastic. If they're not too impressed by the photo, then it's just a delete or a moving on to the next. And women are actually more likely to read on than men, because women fall in love with their ears and men fall in love with their eyes. So it's you men out there are lucky that us ladies tend to give you a bit more of a chance. But what I'm noticing over the years is that it's things are changing, and women are actually taking on more of an alpha energy of the male, because to survive in this very fierce society in terms of success in business, you really have to take on a lot of that alpha masculine energy. But I'll talk about the sexual energies at another time. That it's all about the yin and the yang, and they're very, very powerful if you know how to utilize them correctly. So today, things happen very quickly. People want results, and they basically want them yesterday. So that's why it's so important to create that incredible first impression. So I'll give you a little bit of history about the first impression. In the psych world, it's actually called impression management, and it flows in all areas of your life. So from work, friends, family, and a partner. So we both judge people, and people are judging, but we're actually being judged by others. So often these judgments occur in a fraction of a second. So to achieve our desired goals, we need to learn the best ways to make those judgments and ensure that they work in our favour. So, for example, let's consider the situation, when you're actually on holiday. So when you're actually on holiday and you're wanting somebody to take a photo, you actually get to a point where, all right, do I trust this person to give them my camera or not so? So you actually need just a few seconds very quickly as to whether you decide to trust that person or not. And the same thing happens when it comes to profiles. So really, really fascinating stuff. And your brain actually translates the complex sensory information very quickly. So it looks at the way it impacts the information is height, weight, age, gender, facial expression. And yeah, so it's first impressions. Quite often what we are known as the halo effect. So the halo effect is really about what you want to see in a person is what you'll actually see. So it actually is vital here where you create a very positive first impression with someone initially, because the halo effect is the very reason it's also quite hard to build rapport once you actually start up on the wrong foot with a particular person. So that's very important within the profiles that you actually have that positive reflection of yourself. So you're seen as that charming, winning, smart, intelligent person. So I'll give you an example here. With the halo effect, you could just imagine you saw a profile of somebody and you've got an identical list of adjectives describing someone. The first profile version, they're starting with charming, and the other one is started with moody. So if you would see the profile of somebody that describes themselves as charming, as witty, smart, artistic, flamboyant, but also moody, you'd think, oh, okay, well that person might be quite interesting, and everything else that follows is actually coloured by the very first word. However, if it was reversed and the negative was presented first, such as somebody's moody, charming, witty, smart, artistic, you would see then, oh, well, that person could actually be a bit of hard work. So that's why it's really important when you're putting together information about yourself, and when you also introduce yourself to somebody, start with the positive, and then, if you must, something a little less, so not so positive. So it's all about playing up your best features while maintaining your own sense of integrity. So let's get to it. How do you make sure your profile is magnetic, appealing, confident, flirty? So let's put this all into practice. And I know what you're thinking. It's the photo time, and you're absolutely right. Photos are essential. Pictures do speak 1,000 words. So when it comes to attracting the opposite sex, make sure your photo is really flattering, that you're smiling, at least have a warm, welcoming expression on your face. So make sure your body language is open. For men, really work on that masculine energy. Have that wide stance, broad shoulders, and really show that masculine, powerful energy. Women absolutely love that. I can't tell you how many times women are really, find masculine, powerful men incredibly appealing. I'm sure you'll agree. So if you're not really sure how to pose, which can admittedly be not the most natural thing for some people, so stand in a few different poses and practice in front of the mirror and ask yourself, which one do I feel most powerful in? And 9 times out of 10, that's the one that is going to work in your favor. So the one that you feel most confident and most powerful in is definitely the one that you should opt for. For ladies, it's completely the opposite. This is your time to bring out your inner goddess. So a head tilt works wonders. It really shows that feminine softness. Also exposing your neck. So it's very cute having your chin up high, cheeky smile, head tilted to the side. It shows that you're vulnerable, but in a really good way, friendly and incredibly welcoming. And that works wonders. Men absolutely adore the softness, the feminine energy, because they just literally don't have that within them, and that's what they really find incredibly desirable. So with your body language for the ladies, it's really about utilizing your curves. So if you can just imagine placing yourself in an S shape, so perhaps you place your hand on your hip, one foot in front of the other, place your weight predominantly on one foot. It actually creates, and just practice that sort of S energy, the S shape with your body. Men love that. So some of the things that you just never do, never cross your arms, never stand like a stiff board. And a little tip, if you're a little uncomfortable in front of the camera, just have a giggle or even pretend to laugh. I used to work with this fantastic photographer, and he used to always just make this ridiculous giggling sound, and it used to always just make me laugh, and that would actually bring out a really natural smile. So just have a little, and I use that trick now, so have a little giggle. As ridiculous as it sounds, you'll actually find that you'll smile properly. Sorry, my voice is actually starting to go now. So when it comes to photos and what you wear, colours are fantastic. Black can appear very corporate, very serious. So for both sexes, try to wear nice colours that complement skin tone. Everybody looks fantastic in blues, in greens and pinks. So yes, even the men. So for women who want to make a really lasting impression with men, red is a hot colour for you. Not only does it promote attraction, it's been proven to stimulate conversation with men on a subconscious level. And so if you are interested in knowing more about colours and how they impact the opposite sex and what they bring out within a person, I'll leave my contact details and you just send me an email and I've got some more information for you. So with the ladies, do try to avoid florals at all costs, because florals are really considered you're really dressing for women when you're wearing florals. Your girlfriends will say you look fantastic. I'm sure you'll love them as well, but they just don't tend to work very well with men. So, and really big patterns. So try to keep it really simple. That way he's looking more at your features rather than the really colourful, crazy outfit. And that same goes for men. So I know nobody really wears Hawaiian shirts anymore, hopefully. So just avoid overly crazy prints. So keep it more about you and complementary colours that complement your skin. And if you're not sure, just get out there to one of the major stores, David Jones, Myers, or a boutique, and actually ask somebody to give you a hand. Women always get a blow dry before every photo and every date. Absolutely vital. It's the best half an hour you'll spend. And men always make sure you have a clean haircut and a clean shave. Absolutely essential. Some of the things to avoid in a photo for your profile is a drink in your hand. It really can give off the wrong impression. Also, cropping an X out. It's quite obvious. So when there's half of your cheek missing. of somebody's hand in the picture. Too far and too close. Also, no makeup or excessive makeup. Bikini shots or shirtless shots. And selfies, as good as you may be, they're a big no-no in profile photos. So we'll now go on to content. Content is absolute king, as you'll see written in front of you. The biggest tip for you is to have fun. And when you are writing that profile, imagine you're speaking to that person who's reading it. You're really connecting with them. And even when you're writing, this profile is just having a conversation. So write the profile, bring out your inner child, tell a story about you, but also keep the topics mysterious. You don't really have to know the specific details of where you were born, how many years you lived abroad, and what year you moved back, all the really nitty-gritty details. They're for later. Keep the topics really light. Give your reader the opportunity to ask questions, and be a little quirky at times. Write down if you could have dinner with 3 people, any 3 people in the world, who would they be, and who you've met, and who's your favourite person in the world, and why. If you could do anything in the world, what would you do? And just remember that your profile, it's not a resume. So, listing that you're a hard worker is not really going to do you any favours, because it could actually give you the impression that you work way too hard. There's all work and no play. So, whilst list your credentials, but also remember that this person's with you wants to be with you because they want a best friend. They want someone to play with, have fun with, and, build a life together. So, for men, you can list the credentials a little more than women. For women, just really focus on that feminine energy. If you can cook, what's your favourite dish? What is it that really, really lights up your face? What is it that gets you all really excited? And what's your favourite season? Do you like the snow? Do you love the summery beaches? Do you love weekends away in your favourite places? And yeah, just simply have fun. Have a bit of a laugh if you can through the profile writing. And yeah, so ultimately men, in a nutshell, want a woman that they can switch off with, someone love, trust, have fun with. And what women are looking for is somebody that, they can really connect with and feel safe with and feel looked after. No matter how strong and successful she is, she still wants that. She's still looking for that strong man. And she really wants that security. So yeah, the profiles really important not to list the things that you don't like. It's not a time to air that. It's actually should be completely left out. It's all about keeping it positive. And when it comes to things like favorite memory, try to avoid things like your wedding day or the birth of a child. People can be quite visual and they can really imagine the screaming. And I have a child. I'm absolutely hands down the best experience ever, but it's really important to try to be really creative when it comes down to your greatest memories. It could be with family, friends, holiday, or even something you yet to experience. So yeah, so in a nutshell, visual stimulation, the photo is essential. The halo effect, always start with the positive to really create that lasting impression. Good photos are vital. Good, clear, crisp photos of you smiling with positive body language. Content is king. I can't say enough how important it is to be positive, to be really fresh, to be really focusing on what it is that you want from that particular outcome, particular person, and really connect through conversation. And having positive expectations, maintain freshness. So here's just a copy of the book, How to Be Irresistible to the Opposite Sex, which I'm happy to provide more information on if you're wanting to listen to later. Excuse my voice. So now on to the next topic of the first date phone call. This is a real big one. Absolutely hugely important, and it's essential, absolutely essential, that you connect with your person, and on the questions that you ask, how you respond can leave the person really excited about seeing you, nervous, or potentially cancelling. So some people really master the art of the first date phone call. If your date has been set up during that call, mission accomplished. If after the phone call no date was arranged, there was hesitation, it's not a good sign. So things need to be changed. And the really good thing is that you have the power to do that. So it's all about just knowing what to do and owning the situation. So how do you ooze charisma and charm on the phone when you're on the phone to a complete stranger? It's easy. All about having a plan. And everybody has a plan. And actually practice also makes perfect. So I am about to reveal some fantastic questions to keep the conversation flowing. And the good news is you can use these questions. You can actually double dip. So the first questions work well on the phone and also the first date. So are you ready? Alrighty. So it's all about having a plan. So when you're on the phone, asking random questions may not necessarily work in your favour, and neither is telling your life story. That's a big no-no. The mystery is one of the most important things here. Too much information and there'll be no need for a first date. Remember I mentioned before, we are judging, they are judging, everybody's judging. So keep things mysterious. Let them want to discover more. So asking the right questions in the right order can make a real lasting impression and can make sure your date runs smoothly. It's absolutely essential in being a great conversationalist. So before we get into the question examples, there's a few tips that I'd like to share with you. So most importantly, it's never, ever jump right into a person's deep questions. It's just way too much. You don't know this particular person, it can be considered quite weird or strange. So, an example is, who's the most important person in your life, or do you want to have children, or really being specific about money and politics. That can really rub the person up the wrong way. So always start conversation with light questions. Remember, this is fun time. Take your work hat off. And as the conversations goes on, the questions can escalate to more deep and intimate questions as you build rapport. So tip 2, don't skip the deep intimate questions. So, things like, if you know where a particular person grew up, it may be a completely different country, it may be a completely different town, completely different existence to you. Ask them, what was it like to grow up in, say, America or anywhere it is? Or think back to the best memory of growing up. What was it like? And this is really positive psychology. It helps you talking about their childhood experience and actually starts to elicitate the same feelings, the same really good emotions that they had back then. So to actually further strengthen that, you could ask, so how did that make you feel? You can imagine how wonderful they think you are, is making a big interest in them as a person. So they're feeling good, because they're feeling good, you're feeling good. So it's a win-win situation. So tip 3, remember to ask qualification questions. So because you have received that profile, you should know a lot of this. But, if you're really loving the outdoors, or if you're wanting to meet someone who's social, or, whatever it is that it could be that they love the water, they love the theatre. So really focus on those questions to build that common ground. And also when you're questioning, tip 4 is to ask open-ended questions. Open-ended questions require more than a yes or no answer, and it really encourages conversation and, sees you in a fantastic light too. So, and lastly, be prepared to answer the questions that you ask. So if you're dishing them out, be prepared to receive them back. So some really great questions I like to ask, which you may or may not want to. It's up to you. I actually love to ask, what's your most embarrassing moment? It's very lighthearted. Normally it comes out with a very hilarious story. I also love, as long as you're not too passionate about this, are you a dog or a cat person? What's your best way to relax? Or who's your favourite movie star and why? Or your favourite all-time movie? Or if you wish you could have superpowers, which ones would you wish that you had? What's one food you can never give up? So you can probably see that it's really all about bringing out your inner child. These questions have nothing and absolutely zilch to do with all that serious stuff at work. So to ignite chemistry with a person, it's really important that you do keep things really lighthearted. One of my favourite questions, most of us love to travel. So if you could travel anywhere in the world right now, you had a ticket right now, where would you go? What would be on your list? If Hollywood could make a movie about you, what would it be rated, and who would be the star? So I think that's a pretty awesome question. If someone's to ask you that, you'd really be thinking. And your date's going to love the fact that you get them thinking. It's really stimulating. It's a little bit more of a deeper question. What would be, what some of your favourite first memories? What's important to you right now? What are you most proud of? Who's the most important person in your life? And if your best friends could say, what were your 3 best qualities, what would they say? And things like, who's had the greatest impact on your life? And my all-time favorite, if you could do anything in the world without fear of failure, what would you do? Do you imagine? Maybe it's a question you should ask yourself every day before you get into the day. So I know there's a lot of questions here, so I would definitely keep them quite light. Some of the questions to avoid are sexual questions. Remember, you don't know this person. So things like, do you sleep in a nude beach? Would you, what's the craziest place you've had intimate relations? So anything relating to sex, politics, religion, best kept for later on down the track if you need to go down that path. So to sum up the first date phone call, most importantly, be positive. Sorry about this. Have a plan. So what will be your mission of the first phone call? So have an agenda. All right, my mission on this first phone call is to A, connect with the person, have a laugh, and, really just make a time to get to know that person, set up a date. So it's really important that you actually have some direction during a first phone call and keep it short. I did list a lot of questions, some really great questions. Obviously, I wouldn't go through all of them. I wouldn't recommend that. Just a few, maybe 2 or 3. Have a bit of a giggle, and keep the excitement there, the mystery alive. It'll actually keep your date thinking a lot about you. I really look forward to meeting you. Most importantly, during the phone call, establish that common ground. Really, really be positive. So utilize the halo effect. Have a giggle and just play. Which brings us to the next topic of the biggest mistakes that people make on their first date. So they used to say, I believe, fashionably late. I don't think that's true anymore. So turning up late can really, really be bothersome to your date. So always try to be on time. A few minutes out is fine, but not sort of half an hour. That's just really not fair. It shows that you don't really consider that other person's time. Talking too much is actually a big one. So most people go on dates and they think, all right, well, this is my opportunity to tell the other person about me. And it certainly is. But you know that if the other person has spoken a lot, they've actually walked away and had an absolutely fantastic day. And, the chances of them giving you a call back are really, really high. So, make sure that when you are on that date, imagine the conversations like a tennis match. So it's your turn to talk, it's their turn to talk. So it's flowing, it's fair, keep it equal. If you're noticing that your date is talking too much, you actually also have the control and the power to change that, is to actually maybe, the best way to control the conversation is asking fun questions. They may be talking too much because they're nervous. They may think, oh, well, sorry, I had a drink. They may actually be thinking, I'm getting that person, my date, isn't really taking in what I'm saying, so then they start to nervously blabber to try to convince you of how fabulous they are, but really they're just nervous. So it depends. It could be all misinterpreted. So make sure you ask the fun questions. Forget asking questions about income, politics, religion, complaining, no matter how bad your first day was, no matter how mean your boss was, or the traffic, or the food. It may be horrible, the weather may be horrible. Whatever it is, do not mention it, because even though your date may chat along with you, it will leave a lasting impression. So keep that for your friends or whoever it is that you're not too happy with. So another one that doesn't work is being arrogant. And there's a big difference between arrogance and confidence. Confidence is the number one turn on, arrogance is the number one turn off. So that's all about giving a person significance. It's either being a giver of significance, actually making that other person feel good about themselves, or being a person who is a taker of significance. And if you're constantly, imagine if you're on a date with somebody and they're sitting there and they're proving how fantastic they are, they're actually, the getter of significance, which is really quite repelling. So, and also talking about an ex, big no-no. No matter, if your date brings it up, one of the best ways to deflect that is to say that, oh, wow, great topic, great question, thank you, but tonight I'm here to get to know you. And if down the track we need to bring up that topic, that's fine, we can. But tonight, let's just focus on having fun. And then go into, so tell me, if you were having if you were to star in the movie, who would play you? And to really deflect that into a fun conversational. Tell me about your most embarrassing moment, or even tell me about your most exciting holiday you've ever been on, or where you'd like to go. Another one of the biggest mistakes is people not going to any effort. So it's really important that you make the effort. Dress up well, smell good, look good, be happy, take that time to unwind after work, and really have a nice location in mind. Think about what your date actually wants. And also, turn the phone off. No matter how busy you are, you still have that time just to, you can turn off your phone, you can turn off your emails. Even if it's just for an hour, it will make the world of difference, and your date will really appreciate it. So, what to do instead? How to be charming instead? Simple strategy. Be on time. Really respect that other person's time. Focus on having the attitude of gratitude. So really be appreciative when your date asks you questions. Look at ways that you can answer that with gratitude. So be grateful for the fact that you're in front of them. Whether they are the one or not, it's still fantastic to meet a new person, isn't it? Talking about the future, what excites you, really, really great to ignite the conversation and get it flowing. Really dream together. It's never too early, and you can always dream with strangers. I mean, you do it at networking events and at work, so this stranger on the other end of the table, really, it's a great opportunity to dream. You never know what could happen. Dress to impress, so make sure you wear something that fits your curves or fits your complexion. One of the biggest thing, I probably should have put this one first, is to be fully present. One of the greatest gifts you could give someone is your presence. So no distractions, purely listening, so being an active listener, smiling, joking, having fun, and really validating that person. So being present is all about making your date feel like that they're the only person in the room, and that's magic. So if you've ever had somebody just focus their energy onto you, it's a beautiful thing. So during that date, also be mysterious. Tell a little and ask a lot. So if the other person is talking a lot about themselves, you know that you're doing a fantastic job in actually charming them. We're next moving on to what's hot and what's not. So for the ladies, blow dry hair. I can't stress that enough. I have mentioned it a few times. It makes a difference. It really does. Dresses versus pants. So really work on keeping that feminine energy. Remember, men don't have that feminine energy. They love it. They love to see your curves. They love to see you in colours. Reds, love stimulating conversations. Whites, really, really nice. Blues, greens, reds. Reds are definitely my favourite if you want to really get his attraction up and ante. Smile and a soft fragrance. And for men, clean shaven, stylish clothes, blue colours. Blues are really fantastic. Great sense of humour and a hint of aftershave. And look, at the end of the day, you don't have to be a comedian, but as long as you're having fun, having a laugh. And something that I like to do is just, it's all about saying, all right, I'm going to get over myself. I'm going to put out whatever's going on in my head, clean it out, and be in my heart space. And quite often, your head space is really your ego. Your heart space is the real you. So when you're in the heart space, that gives you the real answers to who you actually are and what you really desire, and that's incredibly attractive. What's not hot? So for ladies, messy hair, a business suit. So that can be really overpowering on a date. No colour. Black is fine, but remember, if you do wear just black, spice it up with some nice coloured lipsticks and shiny gloss. Too much seriousness, so coffee dates are really a big no-no. Talking about how your day was in terms of the business, in terms of your work, in terms of, I actually really, really think that work should be completely left out of the conversation because it really doesn't define who you are, and it's important to highlight the fun, that inner you, that to really show who you truly are. And too much fragrance really, really create a lot of headaches. So keep that nice and light. For men, unshaven, tattered clothes, thongs are a big no-no. Sense of humour, no sense of humour. Again, for both sexes, being too serious is just not going to work in your favour. And also both sexes get excessive aftershave, excessive fragrance. So keep positive, keep it fun, light-hearted. Be like a teenager again and just enjoy life. You'll feel amazing. This brings me to the next one. Very exciting. Who should pay for the first date? I know what you're all thinking. Well, according to our survey, we did a survey, something that we get asked all the time, who should pay? We surveyed over 430 people, and 67% said the man should pay. So it seems like Australians are still quite traditionalists. 1.4% said the woman should pay, and 31.2% said that we should go Dutch. So, it's really who should pay for the first date. Really, there is no right or wrong answer. But what I have found is that if the man doesn't pay for the date, sometimes he never gets to see that lady again. So it can be an absolute deal breaker for some. On the other hand, some men actually don't pay for the first date until he gets to know the woman. So it's a bit of a toughie, that one. So look, admittedly for the guys, if they were constantly fishing out for that first date, it would be quite an expensive exercise. It really depends on how much he dates. But, everyone has different beliefs, so to pay or not to pay. It's really, look, if you do like that girl, it's probably worthwhile, the lady, the woman, it's probably worthwhile to actually make her feel pretty special. Yeah. And now this brings me to the 3 most important things when attracting someone incredible. So as you've gathered, positivity, absolutely essential. Negativity, the biggest repellent you could have. Have fun, bring out your inner child. So couples that play together, stay together. So show that your date that you can have a lot of fun and also have that bright, sparkly personality. It may seem obvious, but when you're sitting on the end of the table and the nerves start to overcome you, just have a giggle. Just reframe yourself, pull out some questions, have a glass of wine if need be, and really just focus on the question I like to ask myself is, in situations where I'm uncomfortable, it's like, okay, so how would I like it to be? Say, for example, you're in a situation where you're stressed. How would I like it to be? I'd like it to be relaxed. All right. So what do I need to do and who do I need to be relaxed? So, okay, to be relaxed, I need to perhaps lower my breathing, slow it down, start to believe in myself, actually really believe in myself, and get out of my head and into my heart, because your head's telling you all sorts of things, and it's really important when your head is making up all these stories, is to acknowledge them, thank you my mini-me, and then move on to your heart space, and just remember the reason you're there, and think the other person actually may be in the same, feeling the same way. So, have fun, relax, smile, laugh, and just know that you're both there to do the same things. So, if anyone has any questions, I'm here to hear and available. And this actually sums up tonight. But for all of you tonight, I'm actually offering you, anyone that's interested, a Mind Reading Your Partner book. It's an ebook. It's fantastic. It looks at the 4 major personality types. So we all have there are 4 dominant personality types, and most of us are a blend of a couple between, say, 2 or 3. And knowing yours and why you pick particular people can make the difference between having a lot of success with a person and picking a really, really good partner. All right, I have a little question here. Oh, Marianne, here we go. Is this going to be about online dating? This is all relevant. Everything that we covered tonight can definitely be applied to online dating. So it actually applies to everything from meeting a person, from your first date to second and third date. It's all about just keeping the momentum and being really, really true to yourself. And I actually have another series of 3 webinars to go, and that'll reveal a lot more information on attraction strategies. We'll be looking at things like how to have that irresistible charm, why you find some people boring and why you find some people sexy, so the crazy kind of love, how to have certain expectations that will actually make you happier, more attractive to the opposite sex, and finding a quality partner much sooner rather than later. So our next webinar will be all about attraction strategies and how to be irresistible. So that's a lot of fun. And session 3 will be about masculine and feminine energies and how to really, really utilize them effectively, and the dangerous truth about control, and also be talking about passion. And we have some bonus sessions too. So I really want to thank you all so much for your time. It's been really great to have you on the call. If you do have any questions, please let me know. Shoot an email to info@bluelabellife.com.au if you'd also like to receive a free ebook. So thanks a lot and good night.